And for more on this development, let's bring in the SNF spokesman, Olufemi Lawson, who joins us live via Zoom from Lagos. Good to have you join us.
It's my pleasure. Good afternoon.
So we know that the 2023 general elections is just by the corner, and we see the politicking already starting. Why do we seem to have this kind of heat up of the polity every time there is general elections just approaching?
It is a deliberate action, especially from those who think certain persons and certain regions within this country do not or are not entitled to authorities, are not entitled to power, and are not entitled to having stake as far as our national consensus are concerned as a country. You recall that since our leaders in the South came together, particularly the Southern governors, through their forum and took certain positions as it affects the people of the Southern Nigeria, some of these elements, particularly from the North, I found it offensive and have in so many ways be orchestrating all sort of attack against our governors, our political leaders, and of recent, the most unfortunate of Afenifere and its classification as a terrorist organization as made by the CNG. We must remind these people that it is within the constitutional right and stake of the people of the Southern Nigeria to demand that power be rotated to the South, just like our governors have posited. Not only the governors, just like other stakeholders within the regions of the region have posited. I don't think this should warrant any form of assault or intimidation like the CNG is trying to do. And just like you rightly posited also, it is not new that when elections are approaching, there is usually the tendency for some politically exposed person from certain regions to instigate all sort of hatred like the CNG is currently busy itself with, against certain persons from other regions of the country. And that is why we have come out with that warning that Nigeria belongs to everybody. We all have stakes.
Mr. Lawson, just allow me quickly come in, because the funny thing or the amazing thing is that all groups seem to say they want the same thing. They want equity, they want fairness, they want justice, but we just can't seem to see eye to eye on how to get there. And we've seen these accusations and counter accusations from all associations and groups over and over again for decades. What would it take for associations like yours that represent ethnic and regional interest, without the involvement of government, to come together, have a national dialogue, understand things better, and champion the way forward?
We have often advocated that, and we have often worked towards harmonizing socio-political organizations and socio-cultural organizations in Nigeria together for the common good of the Nigerian people. But there are some persons whose ethnic, narrow ethnic interests have always been, be paramount too. They see their narrow ethnic and sometimes religious interest as the ultimate above the collective interest. But a lot of time we have come together to advocate. And that is why it looks like today, organizations like those you have listed are talking in different dimensions and are working at cross purposes. And we are disposed as often as always to engage people, and that is why today we have seen people from the southeast, southwest, and south coming together to form the Southern Nigerian frontier, which I currently speak for. If you see, the governors of these three regions have also come together, and the doors have been opened for conversations, even with other stakeholders across other regions in the Middle Belt, in the Northwest, in the Northeast. Doors are often open, but for people whose interests are narrow, who think they own the country and others should not talk, are not entitled to hear their opinion or to make demand, they will not be willing to be part of the kind of process we have suggested.
All right, so at the heart of this is the agitation for more in every region. Every region seems to want more from government, and every region is crying marginalization. And every region says, look, we have to be the one in power in 2023. So it's really about marginalization and the interest, a power interest for 2023. Let me ask you, what should be the criteria to decide who the next president of Nigeria should be, and who should determine that?
The first decider and who should determine who the next president of Nigeria should be must be the Nigerian people, whose sovereignty of this country belongs to. It is no longer time for us to sit back and wait until a person or a group is anointed to produce president for Nigeria any longer. The Nigerian people must be the ultimate decider of who becomes the next president. And in the interest of fairness, equity, and justice, the next president of Nigeria must come from the southern part of this country, because this country is supposedly built on the equity of fairness and justice. And if we are going to go by that motto of this country, we must abide by that, though unwritten, but conventional agreement that has stated that power must rotate between the north and south of Nigeria. And that is why we are insisting that irrespective of how certain persons are, we are insisting that the southern Nigeria must be given the opportunity to produce the next president of Nigeria.
I'm afraid we do have to leave it there. Thank you so much for talking to us, the spokesman of Southern Nigeria Frontier, Olufemi Lawson.
My pleasure.